We'll go ahead then. The time is 4:01. We'll call the regular Planning, Programming, and Zoning Commission to order. First item on the agenda is approval of this afternoon's agenda. Were there any revisions or discussion?
No.
If not, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, is there a second?
Second. Gilbert.
All those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. Thank you. All right, next we'll have approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on March 8th. Any questions, revisions? If not, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion, Gilbert, to approve the minutes.
Okay. And is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Whichever.
State aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you. Motion carried. Next, we'll have the financial report for February, please.
This is Schrader with staff. This would put us at 67% of the year. And looking down through on the expense side, most of them are under. There is one at 76. That's purchases, which those are things that sometimes are in advance, so that's not necessarily out of the order. And on the revenue side, we're looking pretty good. We're rent and properties is 84%, so over revenue budgeted, 119%. Rent and property leases are under at only 28, but some of those rents are annual basis, so they could be coming in at any point as well. So overall, we're looking very good.
So what's the 119% on the miscellaneous revenue? Quite often that is lower, a lot lower.
Yep, 119. I'd have to look into what the specifics were, but 119% on revenue side means we're doing good. We're taking in more revenue than budgeted. So generally, I would guess that the miscellaneous
Is that fees?
Yeah, well, I think the actual like filing fees go on a different line item, but like if we would to copies, if we sell like copies of the zoning ordinance, things like that, there are
Gotcha.
charges. So I'm assuming it would fall under that. It's not a very big budget anyway, so
Right.
119% isn't a lot when you're talking about $206.75.
I remember we talked about it one of these last months, and so, yeah. All right.
Any other questions? If not, do we have a motion to place the financial report on file?
Motion by Schoberg.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second by Surfman.
Okay. All those in favor, state aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Motion carried. Next, we'll go to oral presentations. This is a time for anyone who's on the Zoom call or here, who's here to speak on an item that's not already on the agenda. So is there anyone on the Zoom call or by phone that wants to speak? Okay. And sir, are you here for an agenda item?
He's the applicant.
Okay. Then we don't have any, so we'll move on to new business then. The time is 4:06 PM and a hearing is scheduled at this time for a request by Mark Mosier to rezone 3.68 acres from A1 Agricultural District to R1 CZ to allow for additional storage buildings and outside storage associated with a contractor business located at 4528 Kimball Avenue. This is on pages 8 through 17 of your packet. At this time, we should receive and place on file a statement of verification signed by Patty McGee stating, "I, Patty McGee, do hereby certify that a copy of the attached letter, overview map, aerial map, notice map, and a site plan were mailed to individuals on the attached list on March 28th, 2022. We have a motion to receive and place this notice on file.
So moved. Schoberg.
Second,
Second, Ewing.
all those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried, so we'll have the staff report, please.
This is Blanco staff. The applicant is requesting to rezone the site in question to allow for the construction of a 56-foot by 72-foot building, a 12-foot by 30-foot building, two 20-foot by 77-foot lean-tos, and a 40-foot by 32-foot extension to an existing building to store vehicles and equipment in for their construction company, Mark Moser Construction, and to allow outside storage of equipment and vehicles. The site is predominantly surrounded by agricultural uses with the exception of Trinity Episcopal Parish and preschool zoned R1 CZ Conditional Zoning District located to the northeast and vacant land to the north zoned BP Business Park. Rezoning of the property to R1 CZ would not appear to have a negative impact on the area as the construction business has been operating on the property since 2005 as a home-based business. The proposed rezone area is currently zoned A1 Agricultural District and has been zoned as such since the adoption of the zoning ordinance number 2479 in 1969. The church in the area was built in 1981 and an addition was added in 2005. At this time, there would not appear to be any need for screening. Rezoning of the property for the addition of storage buildings would not appear to have a negative impact upon drainage in the area. This area to be rezoned is in the Zone X, which is not a special flood hazard area as established by the Federal Emergency Management Association. FEMA flood insurance map rate dated July 11, 2011. There is no sanitary sewer or storm sewer serving this property. Power lines are located along the east and west sides of Kimball Avenue. The future land use map designates this area as business park, professional offices, commercial, and compatible light industrial. This rezone request is in conformance with the future land use map and comprehensive plan for this area. The site is located within the secondary growth area. The CZ conditional zoning classification works to allow uses in unique locations or transitional sites between different land uses. Staff is in support of the request as additional buildings will provide storage for vehicles and equipment necessary to the applicant's construction company and help eliminate much of the outside storage area. The proposed buildings will be screened from Kimball Avenue and located behind the house in the rear yard. At tech review, Knudsen mentioned that a storm water detention plan would be required since the proposed additional buildings total over 5,000 square feet. He also questioned whether hard surfacing would be required at this site because of the new commercial zoning. Schroeder mentioned that hard surfacing would need to be discussed further. Alheim noted the applicant will need stamp drawings to receive a permit for the buildings. Therefore, staff recommends the request by Mark Moser to rezone approximately 3.68 acres from A1 Agricultural District to R1 CZ Conditional Zoning District to allow for the development of additional storage buildings associated with the contractor business located at 4528 Kimball Avenue be approved for the following reasons. The request would not have a negative impact on traffic conditions in the area. The request would not have a negative impact on the surrounding area as the contractor business is currently operational at this site.
Okay, thank you. Any initial questions for staff? Okay. If not, we'll see if Mr. Mosier wants to address the commission.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep, just state your name for the
Yes.
record.
I'm Mark Mosier. I live at the property we're talking about. I kind of just came because I didn't know if anybody had any questions or not. I didn't prepare a whole big talk or anything, but I've lived at the property for approximately 30 years. Ran my company since I've been there. And just really want to put up some buildings to add some storage so that I can put some stuff inside. And so I guess that's why I'm here.
Okay. Does anyone on Zoom or on the call have any initial questions? Okay. I guess not. Thank you. Is there anyone else on Zoom or by phone that is present to speak on this agenda item? Okay. Do we have a motion to close the public hearing then?
Surfling, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Prost will second.
Okay. All those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the public hearing is closed. Any additional questions, or do we have a motion?
This is Schoberg. I'll make a motion to approve the request by Mark Mosier to rezone approximately 3.68 acres from A1 Agricultural District to R1 CZ Conditional Zoning District for the development of additional storage buildings associated with his business at 528 Kimball Avenue for the following reasons. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on traffic conditions in the area, and the request would not have a negative impact on the surrounding area as the contractor business is currently operational at this time.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Surfling.
Okay. All right, any further discussion by the commission? Okay, if not, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Okay, motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Mosier.
That is just a recommendation, so it'll go on to the city council for the final decision. We'll let you know when we get that scheduled.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is a request by VIZ LLC to vacate portions of Kimball Avenue and San Martin Drive right-of-way located in the C1 CZ Conditional Zoning District east of 1029 Peoples Square at the northwest corner of the intersection of Kimball Avenue and San Martin Drive. It's pages 18 through 26 of the packet. So we'll have the staff report, please.
This is Dorn Office staff. The request to vacate would not appear to have a negative impact on vehicular traffic in the area, as the vacated area is not needed for city right-of-way. The site is zoned C1ZZ Conditional Commercial District and has been zoned as such since adoption of zoning ordinance 3770 on March 4th, 1991, was rezoned from C1 Commercial District. Neighboring land uses and their zoning: to the north, Commercial Zone C1 Commercial District; to the south, San Martin Drive and Commercial Zone C2CZ Conditional Commercial District; to the east is Kimball Avenue Commercial and Residential Zone C1 Commercial District, R4 Multiple Residence District, and R3 Multiple Residence District; and to the west is Commercial Zone C1CZ Commercial Conditional Commercial District and C1 Commercial District. The proposed vacate would not have a negative impact on drainage. There is an 8-inch sanitary sewer line located in San Martin Drive, a 30-inch 6-inch storm sewer that is in a 20-foot easement that goes diagonally across the northern portion of the property, and two 58-inch and 36-inch storm sewers that start in the area to be vacated at the corner of San Martin and Kimball Avenue and heads east. There are overhead electric lines located on the west side of Kimball Avenue. The applicants are requesting to vacate 2 sections of city right-of-way at the corner of San Martin Drive and Kimball Avenue, construct a new building that would replace a building that was torn down. The applicant worked with the engineering department to determine how much right-of-way could be vacated and maintain existing utilities. There are no sidewalks on either street, and it does not appear the sidewalks would be practical in the area to be vacated. Site lines and utility access will be maintained, including overhead electric lines. Easement will be maintained for the sewer line located to the north and the overhead electric lines that run along Kimball Avenue. The Complete Streets Advisory Committee discussed the possibility of requiring sidewalks to be installed on Kimball Avenue, but did not make a recommendation. Due to the fact the right-of-way in question was purchased with state and federal funds, the city will have to follow special rules for selling the property, which includes contacting the original owner of the property, even if they are deceased. Staff would also like to recommend that the option for the applicant to sign an encroachment agreement for the area instead, and which would be able to complete much faster than the sale process. Therefore, staff recommends that the request to vacate portions of Kimball Avenue and San Martin Drive right-of-way be located in the C1CZ conditional zoning district be approved for the following reasons. The request to vacate would not appear to have a negative impact on the surrounding area. The request to vacate would not appear to have a negative impact on vehicular pedestrian traffic in the area. And third, the area would be vacated is not needed for city right-of-way with the following conditions. Easements maintained for overhead electric lines and the sewer line on the north side of the vacated area. Also, that staff recommends a request for an encroachment agreement along the portions of Kimball Avenue and San Martin Drive right-of-way located in the C1CZ conditional zoning district be approved for the following reasons. The request would not appear to have a negative impact around the area. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on vehicular pedestrian traffic in the area, and the area is not needed for right-of-way.
Okay. Are there initial questions? Okay. Is there anyone else on the Zoom call who is here to speak on this agenda item? Okay, and we don't have anyone else in the chambers. Any discussion or questions by the commission, or is there a motion?
This is Schrader with staff. I would note the applicant's requesting the vacate, but as was noted in the staff report, there could be some complications with an actual conveyance sale of the property. So it might be better for the applicant to proceed as an encroachment agreement. So we're just kind of, from the planning commission standpoint, there really isn't a ton of difference between a vacate or encroachment. It's, essentially allowing that area to be used for something other than originally intended as right-of-way, and staff is okay based on the review of, what's going to be needed. There would still, if it is vacated, an easement retained, or if it's an encroachment agreement, it still provides for the use of the area for the utilities as well.
This is Commissioner Wilbur. So following up on that note, then, who covers the cost or any expenses with having to do that title search or trying to locate those property owners? Is that the city, or is that the property owner that's requesting it?
So in the past, when we've had to follow this procedure that follows, it's under section 306.23 of Iowa Code, the city will do the research work, but the applicant would have to pay for the appraisal, pay for any survey work, which survey work has already been done, and then, of course, pay for the property in accordance with that process based on the appraisal.
Okay. Are there any additional or follow-up questions on that?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Trost. Could you clarify again why are you recommending that it be switched to an encroachment from an easement? And what was the primary motivation behind possibly changing that again?
Right. So Iowa Code Section 306.23 dictates the sale of property that was formerly a highway, public highway, or had federal aid involvement in the construction of the roadway. San Martin Drive was formerly a state highway. Kimball Avenue was widened under interstate substitution using federal funds. So both of those segments, if we were to vacate it and then sell it to the applicant, have to follow that process of 306.23, which involve appraisal and then offering it back to the original property owner that it was acquired from, as well as other adjacent property owners, and a provision for it being sold to whichever eligible bidder based on those criterias meets or exceeds the appraised value. So it's a pretty complicated process, and considering that they're only going to be partially extending some of the drive-through lane onto it, it could be just as easily accomplished by an encroachment agreement, which would keep it as public right-of-way, but allow for that improvement to encroach out into the right-of-way.
Thank you for clarifying that. Appreciate that. So therefore, if a motion were to be made, it would be staff recommend, or that we would recommend a motion be made to provide an encroachment agreement for the portions of Kimball Avenue and so on and so forth. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Any additional questions? If not, do we have a motion?
This is Trost. I'll make a motion to approve a request to provide a encroachment agreement for the portions of Kimball Avenue and San Martin Drive, right away located in the C1 CZ Conditional Zoning District.
Or vacate, correct. We'd prefer that approval would provide for either. That way, if the applicants determine that they're still would prefer to go through that full vacate and purchase process, it'd be their option.
Okay, let me revise my motion then. This is Trost. I make a motion that a request to vacate or provide an encroachment agreement be allowed for Kimball Avenue and San Martin Drive portions indicated in the proposal from the right-of-way located in the C1 CZ Conditional Zoning District be approved with the following condition: that the easements are maintained for overhead electric lines and the sewer line on the north side of the vacated area.
Okay, is there a second?
Second,
I'll
Schoenberg.
second it.
All right, any discussion by the commission on the motion? Okay, if not, all those in favor state aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is a request by the City of Waterloo to approve an amendment to the Martin Road Urban Renewal and Redevelopment Plan and Tiff District to enlarge the area included therein, amendment number 6, and this is pages 27 through 48 of the packet.
This is Schrader with staff. We provided a memo discussing the proposed amendment as well as a map and the actual proposed amendment. Essentially, the proposed amendment does two things. The first is TIF district is considered a economic development area. By state code, it has a 20-year sunset. The original portion of the Martin Road has exceeded that and is no longer in the TIF district. Any of the increment that was created by development in that original area is released to the general fund. But the city of Waterloo is proposing to put that area back into the TIF district. That does not affect the existing development, which its value is in the base, but would capture any future expansions or redevelopments in that area so that we could help encourage some redevelopment. That includes the Denso property, the Far Beverage site, and O'Neill Steel, and there is some available room on those sites for some expansions or potentially some outlots on the west side of O'Neill Steel, so that's why we're looking to put those in. And then the other portion of the amendment will include the right-of-way of US 63 and the Burns Park and Golf Course area for proposed Burns Aquatic Center improvements being planned. Any questions for staff?
Madam Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
Dave Bolton. Curious, Mr. Rader, that since part of that TIF is expired and the money would be going in the general fund, and you want to re-put that area back into the TIF, how much of taxes would we be losing compared to the businesses that are there that would be actually benefiting the general fund?
This is Schrader with staff. So the area reached its 20-year sunset. I forget what year, but it was a year or two ago. So any of the increment that the original Martin Road TIF had created has already been released to the general fund. So this proposal would not affect that. All of the value for what's there now would continue as part of the base going towards the general fund and the other taxing entities receiving their portion. So it would only be any new improvements, expansions, that would create any new increment that would then be captured by the TIF in that new expanded area.
And I was concerned that it wouldn't affect any future budgets of what's currently coming in, correct?
It would not affect what's currently coming in, no. Anything currently coming in would continue to come in. It would just affect based on any new improvements, like if we got a new building west of O'Neill, or if FAR did an addition, that type of thing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any additional questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I was looking for something to make the motion off of, but Schoberg, I want to approve the 2022 TIF district on Martin Road as proposed in our packet.
That works just fine.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? State aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Did you get this? Did you get the second on that?
Yeah, certainly,
Okay,
yes.
Okay. All right. I apologize. I forgot to, at the beginning of the meeting, we have a new commissioner, Sam Blatt. Sam is going to be our representative from the Human Rights Commission. So Sam, I'm sorry, I can't see everybody on the Zoom call, but if you're on, Sam, welcome. We're happy to have you. And if you have any questions, let us know. But
Thank you very much. I definitely might have some questions, and I will not be afraid to ask. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Welcome to the commission, Sam.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Next meeting will be May 10th. Are there any other discussion items before we adjourn? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Joburg, so moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Don't blow away out there.